Today, I want to ask you about the President's open hostility toward media outlets, that many of those media outlets have business before the FCC, and how you intend to lead the FCC in this climate. This could directly affect matters before your agency and the First Amendment issues that you have been very outspoken on. Your official FCC biography states you've been an outspoken defender of First Amendment freedoms. It describes your advocacy in 2014 that helped scrap a proposed study of barriers to entry into the media marketplace. And in an op-ed you wrote, and I quote, "The government has no place pressuring media organizations into covering certain stories," end quote. In response to an interview question last year about whether there is a, quote, "a role for the FCC to play in keeping the political elite from trying to suppress Trump supporters," you replied, "Certainly, I think one aspect of it is the FCC using the bully pulpit that it has to continue advocating for free speech." And you added, and I quote, "I would hope whoever the president is, Americans would return to the tradition that we've had of respectful and robust public debate. That's something becoming increasingly rare," and end quote there. Today, President Trump is using bully tactics to try to intimidate the media. He's even declared certain media outlets, and I quote, he called media outlets the enemy of the American people. His press secretary, Sean Spicer, took the unusual step of barring some journalists from attending his daily press briefings. Chairman Pai, many news organizations or their parent companies have business dealings with the FCC, from regulatory matters to potential merger reviews. So I'd like to ask you a couple of questions that I think can be answered with a simple yes or no. Do you agree with President Trump that the media is the enemy of the American people?
Well, Senator, I don't want to wade into the larger political debates, but I'll simply reaffirm the quotes that you offered from last year and the year before.
So you refuse to answer that?
Well, no, Senator.
The media being the enemy of the American people.
I believe that every American enjoys the First Amendment protections guaranteed by the Constitution.
Yeah. And when you met with President Trump in the Oval Office and at Trump Tower, did you discuss any issues related to the media?
Oh, Senator, I will leave the details of those conversations to the White House to determine. I'm not at liberty to say.
And did you discuss any specific company that interacts with the FCC?
Again, Senator, I can't comment on the conversations I've had with the President. I would leave that to the White House to disclose.
Will the FCC operate independently of the White House?
Absolutely, sir.
And will you resist any attempt by the White House to use the FCC to intimidate news organizations?
Well, Senator, I have said consistently, including just last week in an international forum to the regulators and companies of the world, that we are an independent agency, and for any matter that is placed before me, I will take a sober look at the facts that are based on the papers submitted by interested parties. I will render a decision based on the law and the precedents that apply to those facts, and I will make a determination based on what I and my colleagues think is in the public interest.
Now, White House Chief Strategist Stephen Bannon told an interviewer in January, and I quote, "The media should be embarrassed and humiliated and keep its mouth shut and just listen for a while," end quote. Do you agree with him that the media should keep its mouth shut?
Senator, again, I'm not going to wade in the larger political debates that are beyond the FCC's.
Would you, as an FCC commissioner, make a comment like that to the media about them keeping their mouth shut?
Senator, I certainly have not made comments like that. I've heard it at home every now and then when I don't discharge my personal responsibilities, but no, I have not. I've not said things like that.
The White House, the Wall Street Journal recently reported that the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, raised concerns with a Time Warner executive about CNN's coverage of President Trump. The article quotes, and it notes that Time Warner owns CNN and has a merger pending potential antitrust review. So have you had any discussions with or contacts with anyone in the Trump administration about CNN or any other news organizations?
Senator, no, I've not had any conversations with him or anyone else in the White House about that transaction.
And will you immediately report to this committee if anyone from the White House contacts you or your staff about taking any favorable or negative action regarding any media or communications business?
Senator, I will commit to following all the appropriate protocols and ethical requirements that apply to that sort of conversation.
Thank you very much.